west, north, and south. They coming from all about. When the people working together, they're joining hand in hand. Love, peace, and unity all over Andros land. Oh my Andros. She make, she make, she make, she make, she make, she make, she make Androsian freeway. Oh my Andros. She make, she make, she make, she make, she make, she make, she make Androsian freeway. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Central Andros, small old bay, coral reef, all Andros Regatta. They're showing off their print and culture. Mangrove Key, hospitality, sweet, sweet, sweet. When they hear the rhythm, spirits from the broken reefs. Join your voices together. Yeah, how they sing. Oh my Andros. She make, she make, she make, she make, she make, she make, she make Androsian freeway. Oh my Andros. She make, she make, she make, she make, she make, she make, she make Androsian freeway. Oh yeah. Lord, Lord, Lord. Right. Spirits from the broken reefs, join your voices together. Yeah, how they sing. Yeah, hey, my baby. No sound comes down. Drink still can't stay.
Is this a party or what? This the big bad, sir. Take it out. Oh yeah. Let's do it, y'all. Tonight the mood is right. Y'all them look so nice. Keep on playing the sweet down music. Say the people can't refuse it. Outside in the open air, holding my baby oh so near, with one hand in her hand and one arm around her waist. We having a
party in the backyard.
Oh yeah,
Party all night long.
We gonna
break and scrape until the morning come.
We gonna
party till the break of dawn.
Yes man. Party, party. Oh yeah. This girl named Nikki says she dancing here with me. Been after her so long, gonna keep her close to me, because this dance floor is packed. People dancing back to back, dancing to this sweet down sound. Everybody's getting down at the
party in the backyard.
Whoa,
party all night long.
Whoa,
break and scrape until the morning come.
We're gonna
party till the break of dawn.
Jumbo. Look here, this woman got me hooked by the way she whining, how she look. She rubbed my neck so softly, said her body's taking over me. Ain't that like this so long. Keep playing that sweet, sweet song. So many people out here look like we having a fair. We having a
party in the backyard.
whoa,
Party all night long.
whoa.
Break and scrape until the morning come.
We're gonna
Party till the break of dawn.
we're having a
Party in the backyard.
whoa,
Party all night long.
whoa.
Break and scrape until the morning come.
We're gonna
Party till the break of dawn. Party in the backyard. Party all night long.
we're gonna
Break and scrape until the morning come. Party till the break of dawn.
we're having a
Party in the backyard. Party all night long. Break and scrape until the morning come.
we're gonna
Party till the break of dawn.
1, 2, rock my body. 3, 4, rock my body. 5, 6, rock my body. 7, 8, rock my body. 9, 10, rock my, keep rocking my body.
Hey, come on, boy, rock me now. Let's go. On the island when we say party, we come to get nice and ready. That's time we gonna shake up our little fun. The band them they playing, sweet music they really rocking. We go raking till the morning come. From settlements all around, Little Bight and Cooperstown, everyone coming together as one. Everyone gets on the floor, tell me what you're waiting for. I got to keep you asking for more. You rocking my body, baby, right on time. Just give me the notion, show me what is yours is mine. I get an emotion when you show me your motion. Come boy and rock this jam, rock my body on time. Rocking my body, baby, right on time. Just give me the notion, show me what is yours is mine. I get an emotion when you show me your motion. Come boy and rock this jam, rock my body on time. Hey, come on boy, keep rocking. Woo! Move with me. Listen. Breaking when start getting hotter. Had to find myself a partner. That's when I saw you boy looking at me. That's when you walked over like you was some big shot. You say,
Y'all, I like how you move your sexy body.
that's when we started to dance. Had me caught up in a trance. When I look again, I was way down on the floor. So baby boy, come let's go. Get ready to start the show. I got to keep you asking for more. You rocking my body, baby, right on time. Just give me the notion, show me what is yours is mine. I get an emotion when you show me your motion. Come boy and rock this jam, rock my body on time. You rocking my body, baby, right on time. Just give me the notion, show me what is yours is mine. I get an emotion when you show me your motion. Come boy and rock this jam, rock my body on time. Tell me baby, is it true when you move just like you do when you rock me, that you feel the same? Feel the same. Okay, can't be wrong to feel this way for you. I take the blame. Rocking my body, baby, right on time. Just give me the notion, show me what is yours is mine. I get an emotion when you show me your motion. Come boy and rock this jam, rock my body on time. That's it. Boy, you can move it. That's so sweet. Music. Come on, ladies, let's go. Rock my body, 1, 2. Rock my body, 3, 4. Rock my body. Hey, hey, rock my, rock my body. 7, 8. Rock my body. 9, 10. Rock my, keep rocking my body. Rocking my body, baby, right on time. Just give me the notion, show me what is yours is mine. I get an emotion when you show me your motion. Come boy and rock this jam, rock this jam. Take my hand, rock this jam, rock this jam. Take my hand, rock jam, rock my body on time. Hey, come and rock this jam, keep rocking. Come and take my hand, that's right. Come and rock this jam, move with me. Come and take my hand, groove with me. Come and rock my body on time. Come and rock this jam. Come and take my hand. Come and rock this jam.
Bahamian music time now.
Hey, hey, hey. Yeah. Girl, I want you to know that you're one of a kind. Lady love, you're powerful.
Powerful?
Cause girl, you blow my mind. And you're my kind of woman. Yes, you're my kind of woman. Oh, you're my kind of woman, and I wanna be your man.
Say boy, I start to tingle when I'm in your arms.
For true.
And hey guy, I can't deny I'm falling for your charms. Cause you're my kind of man.
Yeah!
Yes, you're my kind of man. Oh, my kind of man. And I wanna be a woman.
Oh, your eyes,
My eyes,
that face,
my face.
your body,
Really?
just my taste.
Yeah, yeah, your looks so cute. It makes me wanna love you. Say boy, look me in the eyes and tell me that again.
Hey girl, if things work out right, I'm gonna give you my last name. Cause you're my kind of girl, and you rock my world. Say you're my kind of woman, and I wanna be your man.
Oh yeah, you're my kind of man.
For true,
Yes, you're my kind of man.
like you.
Oh, you need to understand that I wanna be a woman. I wanna be a girl.
Oh, better get out, Joey. Ah, yes.
You know what? This music is so good for the soul.
Hey, hey.
Yes, baby. Your eyes, your face, your body, just my taste.
Your looks so cute, you make me wanna love you. You're my kind of girl, and you rock my world. Say you're my kind of woman, and I wanna be your man.
I have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal architecture into a national bond, that the walls of design will give way to the bridges of brotherhood, not a fraternity of symbol, but a brotherhood of substance. I have a dream that we remain focused, that we stay in our conviction and remain fearless, that we double down, fortified, to return this Bahama land to the foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Foundation with Howard Grant out here jamming with you on this beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Wednesday afternoon, October 22nd, 2025. I told you I was supposed to stop doing that, in terms of being able to speak about the specific day. Because this is the internet, and these things don't necessarily die, right? They're looking at something and I thought something was in my ear. These things don't necessarily die. So I wanted to kind of do it in a way where, you can be able to hear it and have a great appreciation for what we're doing. But, we're dealing with the local market. Don't fight me. We're out here being able to do a great deal of things, and I am bewildered by a great deal of what's happening in this country right now. The Minister of National Security just being able to announce today that a by-election will be held on November 24th, 2025. Monday, November 24th, 2025. By-election is going to be held in the constituency of Golden Isles. Today is the 22nd. 32 days, 31? Anywhere between 31 and 33 days. Let's call it 32 days. There's going to be a by-election being held in the constituency of Golden Isles. This is interesting stuff. This is truly interesting stuff to see the progress and how things are happening. And also this morning, the Prime Minister is being able to speak about the fact that the papers speak this morning. If you pick up the papers and being able to see these particular things, I have a great guest that's going to be here with me. So we're going to talk with him in a hot second, but just going to kind of be able to do this and talk to you about these things. The paper says you can be able to check it out, right? Paper talked about it. Searching for pregnant mom. Affairs grow after 7-month pregnant mother who vanished after going to visit a man thought to be the father. She was 7 months pregnant. She's 31 years old. She went to a man who everyone thought was the baby's daddy, and she never returned. You can be able to read that in the story today. Let's see if we can read the top caption. It says a desperate search is underway for a 7-month pregnant mother of 2 who vanished after leaving work early on Sunday to meet someone and never returned home. 30-year-old Lauren Saunders, abandoned Jeep was found off a Coral Road with a flat tire. Her purse and her shoes was inside. And then it goes on to be able to talk to us about her family fears the worst. And that's automatic. A woman ain't leaving her purse nowhere. And especially her shoes. I mean, come on, she can need those things. Her purse and her shoes inside. Miss Saunders' sister, Charmaine Edgecombe, said the relatives believe that she left to meet the man thought to be the father of her unborn child. He is believed to be married. He's believed to be married. She said, okay, she's going to keep the baby. This woman already in the 3rd trimester. She's already in the 3rd trimester. Now we can have a conversation about if we're keeping the baby. We're keeping the baby. We're keeping the baby. What you mean if we're keeping the baby? The baby's 7 months years old. The baby ready to come. We're keeping the baby. Okay. She said, okay, she's going to keep the baby. She's not a baby killer, so she kept the baby. The family grew alarmed when Miss Saunders failed to show up for a function at Atlantis and could not be reached by telephone. I said that this ain't like her. Something wrong. Let me open up the paper properly so I can read the thing properly. I said that this ain't like her. Something wasn't sitting right in me. I thought she was going to say my spirit. Something wasn't sitting right in me. And then she goes on to say that Miss Edgecombe said that they checked every hospital ward before filing a police report. Soon after, another sister retracted Miss Saunders' usual route. She retraced that. She retraced Miss Saunders' usual route to work and made a chilling discovery. They drive up, they saw the Jeep next to the road, and then they called the police. And they did further investigation. But they didn't actually say if they found someone or whatever they found. It goes on to say, all we know is that the Jeep was found there and the front was flat. This is what Miss Edgecombe, her sister, said. And that they found the vehicle, and they said, I think that she said that the person in the shoes was inside. When the Tribune had visited the scene yesterday, the police officers were combing thick brushes off a track road near Coral Harbor. Expanding through the search along other tracks of Gladstone Road. This morning, the Prime Minister and the House of Assembly been able to speak, give condolences to the family without being able to speak the specificity of the young lady's name and what she does and where she is and so forth and so on. The Prime Minister didn't want to be able to usurp or go ahead of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. His responsibility was just being able to provide that information and indicate to you that it's a sad day. There was a moment of silence in the House of Assembly for this cruel act of violence. And I think there's a great deal of speculation that's being led to what we believe has happened, but what we don't know. We don't know. And so it's easy and rich to give a speculation of what could happen and what did happen and what will happen and who did what. And this is a married man, and we know our society. You won't figure it out. But I think we better let the police do their job in this particular instance, and we continue to be able to pray for the young lady that has lost her life, whose life apparently has been snuffed away from her. In the midst of childbearing. It's a heavy story, and I think it speaks to the morality and the time that we live in. There's sort of an idea of being able to give it over to a reprobate mind. We're going to be talking about that and a lot of stuff today. I want to introduce you to my guest. My guest is sitting in Bimini with me. He's sitting in Bimini this morning and really being able to chime in with us and to talk about a great deal of things that are happening in the country. If you don't know him, you're going to be able to be introduced to him. He's none other than Pastor Oral Ellis. Pastor Ellis, what's happening with you, my brother?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. How about you?
Go ahead. You can hear me? Did he freeze? All right, let's see if we can be able to reconnect. Pastor, hit me up again. Hit me back again, and let's be able to get this. Just reconnect. If you could hear us, just reconnect, and we can be able to get to that conversation. Listen, this is bananas, man. I want to tell you this. I don't hear nothing coming through this. This is absolutely bananas. I might as well tell you the truth. I might as well tell you the truth. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. I don't know to say to you that one incident after another, one day that bleeds into another, one thing that happens after another. Our country's in a bad state. We got to be able to deal with it. Pastor's back.
Yeah, can you hear me? Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are things with you?
Oh, things have been pretty fair in Bimini. We're hanging in there.
Introduce yourself. Tell people who you are, where you're from, your church name, so forth and so on.
Oral Ellis is my given name. I'm a pastor and founding pastor of the Born Again Church in Bimini. I've been pastoring now for the last 20 years. For the past 2 years, I've been relieved from the in-house duties, and my ministry now is strictly online. I'm on Saturday nights and Monday nights, so I'm reaching more people. I'm on the Facebook, so I'm all over the world, and I feel like I'm right now into my purpose.
You say you haven't been pastoring for the past 2 years. Is that retirement? Because you didn't say I've been retired for 2 years. You're still pastoring. Talk to me about it.
Well, initially, I thought it was retirement, but understanding it's transition. So I'm no longer doing the in-house, but I started the online during the pandemic, and I never discontinued. So even as I went back to the pulpit, we still continued the online. And I felt that the Lord led me to, I can walk away from the in-house now and just concentrate on the online, which has drawn a tremendous following.
That's excellent. I want to congratulate you in your space and being able to do that. So you're calling us all the way from Bimini. Tell us what's happening in Bimini, the island of Bimini.
Well, Bimini has been in the spotlight for quite a number of years. Normally, this time of year, we're slowed down. We're normally a summer-based economy. We have most of our traffic from South Florida, which are boaters, and we would begin around in spring in March, and we'll go through until September after the Labor Day holiday in September, when people go back to work from their vacation and children go back to school. We normally slowed. But over the past several years, we've been blessed to fill that void by cruise ship. And so the cruise ship industry had been a great source of revenue and income for us. Over the past couple of months, maybe 2 months after the August end, things started to slow down a bit. I have a son in Los Angeles. He's in pursuit of acting. He's done several things on the international scale, like Blackish. He's appeared in Blackish, Code Black, 911, several things.
Your son was in Blackish?
Yeah, he had
That's
a role. He had a speaking role
know.
in Blackish. Yeah, he's been on Code Black. He did something there. He did on 911 and several commercials, even Super Bowl commercials. Now, don't get carried away with that, because that's small economics. Wow. Every now and again, he's still calling, "Daddy, I need this," and "Daddy, I need that." So don't mind all of that. Like the folks said, ain't all that. But God has given him the opportunity. But I call his name because I want to say that he said something to me that is interesting. He's been on Spence Finlayson show when they were in Los Angeles during the Independence.
Okay,
He had a day on ZNS, and he spoke to several issues. And so he said to me about 2 weeks ago, he said, "Daddy, we are on a quiet recession." And I said, "Well, I never heard that term before. What do you mean by quiet recession?" And so here's what I gather from his take, because he's somewhat in politics as well. And so we know that the U.S. president, during his campaign, he talked about raising or increasing or implementing tariffs on these nations and all that. And he was advised, if we go in that direction, we're going to have a recession. But of course, they allow him to overrule their expertise, and they went in with them and allowed him to do so. And we are really in a recession, but it's not in the media. So we are actually in a recession, but it's not being aired as we are in a recession and for that purpose. And so that's what he said. But we can feel the effects from it.
He means specifically in the United States of America?
And whatever, as is said, when America blows nose, we catch the cold.
And then America sneeze, we catch the cold.
Yeah, when America is in recession, all of our about 90% of our tourism product comes out of the U.S. So people are still traveling, so to speak, but they're spending less.
I think we've actually seen the brunt of that and a great deal of that actually happening here locally, with some decline in certain areas. We're going to be talking about that real soon. Grand Bahama Business is actually in the papers today, as you say that. Grand Bahama Business has taken on this kind of a position to say that since Celebration Key opened, that they've seen a decline in business in Grand Bahama. So a lot of persons can feel sort of the pinch happening. And, you know, as we go into Christmas, are you feeling that in Bimini, there's things shifted? Because I know you're still working in the tourism industry every day.
Yeah. That's why I'm speaking. When I speak, I am not speaking to hearsay. I am speaking to what I see, what I feel, and what I know. I can give you some statistics as far as the economy for Bimini. I can, if you want to go in that direction, I'm prepared to give you some numbers.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about what's happening from a Bimini standpoint in terms of the numbers. I know that since Bimini's Bay is kind of opened up under the former and late minister of tourism and the late minister most recently of social services who've passed away, Obi Wolscombe, since they kicked off Bimini Bay, I thought that things would have shifted significantly in Bimini. We know that a lot of persons who you all would call driftwood moved into Bimini for an opportunity to be able to do some things. So I would think that it was on the up and up. Talk to me about what's happening on the ground.
Yeah, no, we've had some good years, some incredible years, but over the last, like I say, several months, we can feel the decline. And so when you would have made X amount of dollars and you're no longer doing that, then you know that something has shifted. But as to date, I can give you some numbers that I've collected just recently, up-to-date numbers, that for the year, we have had 209 cruise ships visits. We've had 600,000 passengers have cleared and walked through the gates. And it is projected by the director of another
609,000?
600,000 cruise ship passengers, 209 cruise ships.
Now, what is this time period from January of this year?
This 2025.
2025. Okay.
Yeah. Projected to be another 150,000 by year end. And it was broken down into the various flag carriers, such as.
Hold on. Bimini is like a mile long, wide. Give me the range.
Bimini, on paper, it is half mile wide. We know that is not, that you will never find that. And 7 miles long, you will never find that. That is aeronautical. I don't know how it becomes, but I live here, I drive here, and I drove the streets in 2000, up to 2008, 2017, up to 2017. I drove those streets every day, all day, and from the resort, which is at the north point of Bimini, to the end of Bimini, you can get about 3 miles.
Hold on.
So
3 miles and a pinch wide. 3/4 of a million people coming in every year. And you mean to tell me you're only making good money in Bimini?
No, I never said that.
No, I mean,
I
in
said,
comparison. I mean, like how things were last year, because we know that the tourism numbers increased. If you give me the numbers from 2000 and let's say 22, 23, and we look at the numbers now, I know those numbers differentiate, and you could be able to see a significant increase. But so what about the finances? Is there an impact on the ground in Bimini?
yeah, it's been, we thank God for that. Outside of that, we would have been in our traditional setting of 6 months of the industry in action. Now we have year round, but still, I've been in this business for, my wife and I, we started this business from 1987. So we've been in 38 years of this business.
And this
So we know
business
the difference.
in this business, tell them.
Tourism business. She's a local straw vendor. We call them.
Okay.
And so she has been operating in the craft center down in Allenstown,
Mm-hmm.
and I am operating a second leg that she had started in the middle of Bimini now. I was in the downtown area for 17 years.
So you're a franchise. You got a
Well,
franchise now.
God be the glory, and all praise and honor after God goes to her.
That's pretty good. Okay, so
Yeah.
did you do anything
So,
as it relates to this sort of an idea where you do tours? Do you anything like that?
no, I don't do. I'm not in the touring business, but only so much things you can do, and there's tremendous amount of opportunities and spin-offs.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing with Bahamians, we're good on copying one another. Very few people will go to the drawing board and will, come up with visions and dreams, something to take into their own directions. I see you laughing, but it is a fact.
I laugh
And
and I gotta laugh.
I tell you, I've been around. So she is one of the pioneers in the industry now, since this late movement before Resourcewell. Before Resourcewell in 1987, when we started, we had the Sea Escape. You remember the Sea Escape?
Yeah, I remember this.
And then we had
It's coming
another
to
ship.
Bahama.
The Tropicana used to come into Bimini, and so before then there were some elderly straw vendors. So since then, she was one of the first local. She's not a indigenous Bahamian, but she is Bahamian now. She's been married to me for 43 years. So she is one of the pioneers today who had started the second revolution of the industry, I would say. And so she had taken that to another level.
So tell me about this. Does it? I know you got I don't know how much kids you have. I know how much children you have over the years. I know your children, some of them are, then like you said, your son is not even home anymore. Was this sufficient from 1987 to now in terms of your expansion within the straw vending industry and being able to do everything was it able to sustain you over the years?
That has been our bread and butter. That has sustained us, allowed us to put our kids through college, school, and all that. And outside of that, I was the public relations person for Resourcewell today. A lot of people don't know that. They don't know how that came about. But that was played out of the loins of myself, Lloyd Duda Edgecombe, Vincent Ellis, who assisted Mr. Capo to get Bimini Bay up and running. He treaded water for about 5 years, Bimini was ready to kick him out, but we tolerated and we we stayed in there with him and assisted him and get him up and going. Now we are the forgotten ones, those who fought us politically for the project, now are benefiting from it. But as the Bible would say, some plant, some water, and Christ give the increase. So
Praise
we
God.
don't look at what we had done, but we are glad that we were able to do some things to put people in position to reap here ever after. So we started that project in 1998. I stayed there until 2003 when the Lord gave me a different assignment to go into ministry and to go into ministry full time, Howard, and with no people. But I was obedient after fleecing him, after having that vision to see if that was really him. And I put him to test, and just as I asked him, I gave him 3 days to respond, and he responded just as I asked him. And I realized then I was in trouble. I got
What you
to
say?
leave work
Let the dew
I got
fall
leave
on this side, right?
to do full time in ministry with no pay and no people. But the Lord has blessed me ever since then. The minute I did my last day of my 2 weeks notice, when I realized I was going to go, I got a call from my daughter in college. She was in North Carolina at the time, not the University of North Carolina, Tar Heels, but she was in a college in North Carolina. And she said to me, Daddy, I made the basketball team and I just earned some more scholarship money. And I said, how much did you earn? And that was the balance of what we had to pay for her. So she went through college. We never paid $1 tuition. She graduated on the president's list. And the
Is
waste
that
continued to.
Shaw University?
No, it was a small college in North Carolina, but she ended up transferring it. And she went down to Florida Memorial University, where she graduated
Really?
under president. She is now a veteran school teacher up in the Orlando area.
Wow.
Her son, Laquan, who is a junior, started out in Florida State, recruited by Levon Sands, Superman. He's now in the University of South Florida in his junior year. And his sister, who won the MVP in the Bahamas game for Grand Bahama in softball, that I think it was Sanders, the sportscaster, who said she can't be no more than 21. At that time, I think she was 13 years old.
13.
She was in 7th grade. She is now in 10th grade. She's at the Mount Wade Academy. That's the school where Cooper Flag, the #1 draft pick, came out of his school. So she has been recruited heavily. She is ranked number 5 in the U.S. in softball and pitching. She has had tremendous amount of tournaments, travel all over America. She has had interviews and invitations to come to every top-notch school in America: Auburn, Alabama, Duke, LSU, all over the world in America, all over America. She has been and have invitations as a 10th grader right now as we speak. And my Laquan, her brother, is a 2-time junior Olympic gold medalist in the 4x100 relay. Won his first race at age 10 in Houston, Texas, and won his second at 10 in Iowa. And now his baby sister, Lila, who is 8 years old, she had was invited to Junior Olympics, and so she did her first.
Oh, you're sporty.
And she's ranked number 15 in the U.S.
You're all sporty. You got everything sports. My wife made a joke to me.
So God has blessed us tremendously of making that sacrifice.
That's excellent, man. My wife made a joke.
I didn't get monies. We didn't get monies from pastoring, but God had undergirded us tremendously. And so now he's in college. The granddaughter, his sister, she's in a $54,000 a year academy, room and board, and all like that doesn't cost us a penny. So God continues to bless us tremendously for the sacrifice and the labors that we made.
Excellent, man. I say my wife continues to make a joke with me. My son and my daughters, they flirt with the idea of getting into sports. She said, I can tell you what my daddy told me. He said, we are smart, but we can't do no sports, so don't even try. So they don't bother with it. But congratulations, man. You're doing well, and you continue to do well. Before we slide on to another topic, I know we want to talk about some national issues. Before we do that, I just want to be able to talk about your history, your lineage, and where you would have been birthed from. How many pastors you all have? How much Ellis pastors you all have in Bimini? Is you, Delton, Bishop Neil Ellis? Who else?
We have the late we have the late Bishop Dave Ellis, who was the founding pastor in Carroll City. He died not from COVID, but during the COVID era. He died from Miami. So we have Dave, who was the founding pastor of Free Will Christian Center in Miami.
I remember
Then
that.
you have Bishop Edmund, who pastored the United Church of God here in Bimini for 20 years. Then myself, who follow Edmund. I'm the founding pastor of Born Again Church. Then Bishop Neil, who follows me, is the founding pastor of Mount Tabor Church. And Delton, the baby brother, he is now the senior pastor of Mount Tabor Church. My one sister, Edris, her husband is the senior pastor at the church that we started out in Mount Zion. Then the oldest brother, Sherrick, he's also a licensed minister, but he retired as an administrator in the government. So he worked for government for 46 years, right out of high school. And then we have Prince, who was the general manager for Club Landor for many years. And then we have another brother here by the name of Ken. So it's been 8 of us and one girl.
Wow. You know, I went to with Bishop Neil Ellis, and one of the things that I always take from his conversations and what he continues to be able to espouse about his growing up is his grandfather. He talks about how his grandfather may not have been the best as being able to read and write, but his passion and his faith and his conviction and how he was able to speak about the Lord inspired so many people. Talk to me about that.
Papa was a very deep-rooted Christian man. Didn't have the to do articulations and all like that, but I'm starting to get a little emotional now, Howard. So, but he was a man who meant God, and he had his time of preaching. And so, one good thing about Papa Robert Ellis Sr. was that when he preached, you ain't gonna be in church long. So, Papa would give me his text, and a couple of minutes he threw his hand up in there, and he started a shouting, and he gone. That was Papa. But one thing I adopted from him, he was an early man. He was a man. If church is 7:00, we can play ball and all like that. And when you see him leaving Poggy Bay to go to church, you can say, well, I got another hour, I can play, and then go home and bathe and get ready to go to church. Papa done gone.
He gone a long time.
He gone a long time. And he ain't gonna preach long. So he would have, after my mother's adopted father, who was the pastor of the church that we came up through, after he died, then there was an interim period, and after which my granddaddy was elected the pastor for 1 year, but they didn't allow him to stay long. They said we're in a new world, and education and theology and all this kind of a thing like that, and I still today have my withdrawals and about theologians and all like that. You know what the Lord said to me coming out of Abaco after Dorian? I never went to Abaco proper. until after during the Lord put some names in my spirit, and I called up some people and I spoke to them, and I went down there and he allowed me to see some things that he had shown me. That's another story for another day. All the situations went on with Abaco and all of that, and why, and all like that, and COVID and all of these type of things. That's a long story for another time, Howard. But when I was on my way back, so one of the things that don't go well with him is theologians. God go to work and craft out parts to cross. And so we would find a way to make it a formula. So it discredits the architecture of God to cause you and I to be, as we speak right now, we are on the show right now based upon what we thought. Okay? But the truth of the matter is there is a purpose for us to be on this telecast right now. Perhaps you and I don't know exactly what it is, but he knows the reason. And so it is no coincidence that we are here. We are here based upon purpose, and God has organized it. And so that's how I put it. And that's what I always believe. But some theologians will say, oh, it's because this and that and all the economy or election and all this type of things like that. And God hates that because he's a master architect. And I've seen him done some things. God will delay flights for you to meet people. He will speed up flights to meet people. He will do whatever necessary he needs to do. And we just don't understand what it is that he's doing. But we are a part of the pieces that he's using to send his message. So his message that is going out right now, we only know that we are here because we link up and we decide to come on. But it's not because we decide to come on that we are here, and you know that. But we are here because our steps are ordered by him.
Yes. I appreciate you saying that, man, because yesterday we were starting to talk about, and I want to get on this at the second part of this. I want to get into some national issues and talk about these particular things. But just yesterday we were talking about this sort of an idea where man takes on this position and seeks to be able to make a religion out of it, right? They want to be able to put it in a scientific perspective. They want to be able to structure it and say, this will be the outcome. This is what's going to happen. They applied that thinking to politics. They applied that to relationships. They've applied it to everything, and leaving no space for God and his will to be done in these particular areas. So I want to talk about that, and I want to dive deeper into these conversations. If you just stick and stay with me for a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we're going to continue our conversation with none other than Pastor Oro Ellis, all the way from Bimini, talking about what's happening down there in Bimini. All right? Quick break, guys. Going to be right back after this.
Nassau, Bahamas, Alpha Sounds Promotions is celebrating 25 years of greatness.
Yes, 25 years of love and unity in the Bahamas.
And coming to celebrate with us is none other than Cast the Band.
Cast the Band, make up with the
Yes, Cast the Band.
Hello. Alongside Beijing sensation, Ruby.
Jump around the place. I want to bend my waist.
Our very own Nishi LS.
Franshawn.
Wendy.
Lady E.
Sweet Emily.
Veronica Bishop.
Ancient Man.
Julian Believe and the Pawn Band.
And many more. Hosted by Natural Empress and yours truly, Giselle the Wassy One.
Saturday, November 8th at Breezes Grounds, Cable Beach. Gates open at 7 p.m.
Early bird tickets are just $75. VIP access for $150 with an open bar.
Get your tickets now online at Bahamas8tickets.com, or you can get them at Big Boys Cafe, Plantation Bar and Grill, and Tropics on the Bay. Alpha Sounds, 25 years of greatness.
For more information, call 822-6863.
Saturday, November 8th. Miss it? You matter what.
When I'm feeling under the weather, you just make me feel sweet.
Bahamian music time now.
Yeah. Girl, I want you to know that you're one of a kind. Lady love, you powerful.
Powerful?
Cause girl, you blow my mind. And you my kind of woman. Yes, you my kind of woman. Oh, you my kind of woman. And I wanna be your man.
Say boy, I start to tingle when I'm in your arms.
For true.
And hey guy, I can't deny I'm falling for your charms. Cause you're my kind of man.
Yeah!
Yes, you're my kind of man. Oh, my kind of man. And I wanna be a woman.
Oh, your eyes,
my eyes,
that face,
my face,
your body,
really,
just my taste.
Yeah, yeah, your looks so cute. It makes me wanna love you. Say boy, look me in the eyes and tell me that again.
Hey girl, if things work out right, I'm gonna give you my last name. Cause you're my kind of girl, and you rock my world. Say you're my kind of woman, and I wanna be your man.
Oh yeah, you're my kind of man.
For true?
Yes, you're my kind of man.
Now you,
oh, you need to understand that I wanna be a woman. I wanna be a girl.
Oh, play that guitar, Joey. Ah, yes.
You know what? This music is so good for the soul. Yes, baby. Just my taste.
Your looks so cute. You make me wanna LOVE you. You're my kind of girl, and you rock my world. Say you're my kind of woman, and I wanna be your man.
Oh yeah, you're my kind of man. Yeah, yes, you're my kind of man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I wanna be a woman. Yeah, I need to be a woman. I need to be a woman. Yeah,
I wanna be a man.
I've got to be.
Are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Foundation with Howard Grant jamming with you. Just being able to talk about a great deal of things that's happening around the country, and more specifically today, we are focused on the island of Bimini. You got some great people being able to talk to us, more specifically who I identify as one of the mayors, if not the mayor of Bimini Island, and being able to speak to us with clarity from all aspects. He gave us some great statistics about 750,000 persons potentially for the month of, for the year of 2025, being able to ensure that they touch down in the ground of Bimini. It's a wonderful thing to be able to see those things, and it's wonderful that we can be able to find people who authentically can be able to say to you, this is the productivity of our island, this is what's happening from this particular perspective, and still be able to have the faith to pour into this particular space. Listen, he's a part of a clan of Ellises that came out of Bimini. These are men and women of faith that continue to be able to pray over our nation and find themselves strategically in positions of authority, biblical, godly authority, pastoring over churches both here and abroad, to be able to talk about thus saith the Lord. I'm grateful that he's here with us today, really grateful for the opportunity to be able to talk with him. And I want to dive into a couple more things. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to be able to reintroduce you, if you're just tuning in, to none other than Pastor Oral Ellis, pastor of the Born Again Church in Bimini. He says that he's no longer in the church in the four walls, but you can be able to catch him on. You got to tell us what your Facebook page is.
It's on my name, Oral J. Ellis, Senior. You find me on Facebook. I'm on Saturday nights and Monday nights at 7:55 for 1 hour.
Saturday and Monday.
Yes, 7:55 for 1 hour.
Okay. That sounds
I do
wonderful.
just I do just mainly teaching.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to pick you up, and so we can be able to dive into some things with you. I know that Bishop Delton actually does some things also. That's the prayer that he does in the morning. So I know that your family is really in tune and trying to be able to ensure that they could keep this nation on the right track. And so we want to thank you for that, and thank you for your commitment. I want to talk to you about national things now. I'm all of you in your own right. I'm the brothers that I do know. All of you in your own right has a view and a position as it relates to what's happening from the country. Not necessarily getting into a political aspect, but really from a nationalistic aspect to talk about what the expectations are for the country. What should happen, what you think should happen. I'm being able to contrast it to what happened yesteryear, and if we continue in this path, what can happen now. Most recently, we were actually seeing the death of another cabinet minister. Your member of parliament passed away a few years ago, 2 years ago, West End and Bimini, in the person of Obi Wilshcombe. And no matter person's politics and their position, Obi was a giant of a leader in this particular capacity, and a lot of persons would have known him in this area. And so he's passed on, and now out of this administration, out of this New Day administration, we would have seen another cabinet minister and now a pastor pass away in the person of Vaughn Miller, the member of parliament for Golden Isles, and the minister in charge of the environment. Talk to me about that. Talk to me of some of the thoughts that you would have had, or sort of the sentiment that exists in Bimini as a result of being able to see him pass away.
The late Obi Wilshcombe, he was a popular person. We've known each other way back from the baseball days when he was announcer on ZNS in Freeport. That would have been around the late 70s. And he had traveled with Mr. Linden coming to Bimini during political era. We were on opposite sides of the fence, the political divides, but he always would come and hail us when he would come into Bimini. We never thought he would have gotten into frontline politics, but that was his choice. And he came, and we gave him service as to try to be of assistance. When he won in 2002, Bishop Ellis, our brother, he spoke to me and the former administrator, our oldest brother, Sherrick, knowing that we were not on that side of the political fence. And he asked us to, please work with Obi. And we said, we for Bimini. And if Obi is for Bimini, then we are on board. We are here for Bimini. And then Mr. Valentine Grimes, who knew me, he was also one of the attorneys, local attorneys for Mr. Capo, who I had worked for at the resort. When they became the government, and he came to Bimini for a visit, and he saw me, and he said to me, Brother Ellis, I didn't know you was such a popular person in Bimini. I don't think so, but that was his opinion. And he asked me to please work with Obi. And I committed myself, but Obi was not that type of a person, not to cascade him in any which way. But when we speak truth, he was not that type of a person who really reached out to far as help is concerned. He was sociable, and he would reach out in other areas, but I didn't think we got what we could have gotten. And I served on the board. Then I've been involved in the politics. I campaigned and coordinated the elections for Mr. David Wallace in 1997. We got him elected against all the odds. We projected figures of what we think the figures would be. And my figures was off by 5, and we were 5 in the plus. And that's where they started to recognize who's this man in Bimini. And so I worked along with Lloyd Duda Edgecombe, who helped to groom me into politics. And so, politics is the form of governance, but it's governance that we really pay attention to. Unfortunately, the governance is decided through politics, and that's the downtime of it. In 1982, Howard, we added two Bimonites in 1982, Mr. George Reich, the Progressive Liberal Party candidate. I would say he was a convert. If I was using Hebrew biblical terms, which I don't know too much about, I would say a proselyte. But then we had Mr. Jeff Davis, who was the standard bearer for the Free National Movement. And from 1982, that divided Bimini in every aspect of the way, from the church, the lodges, the sports. And to this date, we are still reaping the repercussion of those two Biminites entered into politics. And we were never able to come together and work together as a people. I served as the president of the Christian Council here in, I think it was early, probably mid 2000, and I tried to do some things. I tried to implement and introduce coming together as a people to work corporately. That never got off the ground because one thing I learned about people of our color is that when you try to do things and involve money, people always believe it's something you're fighting for you. But what I know for a fact is that people like Martin Luther King and John Lewis and some other people, they are called by God to do things outside of the tradition of Christendom. And people just don't understand it. So when you come out and speak, you are in the odds, you are in the minority. So people believe that it's something, some hidden agenda that you are fighting for. And so I've coined or penned some phrases that you got to fight people to fight for them. And so
you got to fight people to fight for them.
You got to fight them to fight for them. So they give you a fight, fighting for them. But because they are so accustomed of people fighting with ulterior motives, and there's something in it for them, they think everybody's like that. And so what happens is that as you're fighting for them, they're fighting you. And you got to be strong and hang in there and continue to fight because you're called to the fight. But by time as they realize that you were fighting for them, you're all bloody up and bruised. And so I think I fought long and hard enough that I'm 67 now. And so I just decide, take the advice of one of my deceased uncles and said, son, you got to fight for yourself and your family. These people, they will kill you. And he was a wealthy man. And he was not a popular man because of his wealth. And so when you strive, and I come up with a name Howard, that, we are targeted. People believe that we believe we are better than people. That is not so. We try to help people. Our lives is to help people, to do what we can to assist people, to make people better. So I tried to bring a program in the Bimini, and I said, if we can get 1,000 people with $100, we got $100,000. Or if we can get 100 people with $1,000, we got $100,000. We got $100,000 we put in the bank, we got power. We could get the attention of the bank manager and say, we want to go in this direction. We want to invest in this. We want to invest in the mailboat. We want to invest in aircraft and all these type of things they try to present to us. And it was fought. I had Mr. Sidney Colley at the time and his wife to come down, speak corporately. It was going to be out of my pocket. It was not going to be a cost to anybody. I didn't believe I had to fight for that, and to the place where I just threw in the towel.
What's the population of Bimini?
Approached by someone in authority just a few months ago, I still have that concept that I that I had and all that. It's time to resurrect that and all like that. But that's Bahamians. We always believe that somebody's trying to get something for themselves.
Yeah. What's the population of Bimini right now?
Well, we've got 1,500 and some registered voters, and so we can double that with under 18. So we got about 3,000 people.
3,000 people on a little island like that. Now I want to talk to you about some stuff. Now I know you're very fond of Obi. What did you make when you saw most recently, 2 years almost to the day, that Vaughn Miller passed away in the same kind of instance? Talk to me about it.
Vaughn Miller, I spoke to Vaughn Miller several times when he was in the Free National Movement organization and a member of parliament. I spoke to him several times and I gave him some suggestions, and even before he would make his contribution, him and I spoke, and then after he would have had the opportunity to have spoken, we spoke after he would have made his contribution, and he said, that he was struck off his horse by what preceded his speech, that he was ready to attack the then Prime Minister and leader, Minnis, but he had said something that changed the whole complex of his contribution, and he almost had nothing to say.
Wow.
So Vaughn was a good man. I believe he was a man of integrity, a man who would be sincere. And when you are sincere and genuine, people don't take to you too much, especially colleagues, because they view politics as a dogfight, just like colleagues in ministry. We ought to be colleagues, and God made visions. And in order to bring visions to pass, we form churches.
Mm-hmm.
And so God waits churches, and he waits us to complement each other. But rather than we complement each other, we compete against each other. And we're trying to make our own kingdoms. And so we're going to end up in chaos. Politics is the same way. I wish there could have been a way that governments could have been formed outside of the electoral process. But then to move away from that, you got dictatorship, communists, and all this type of things that we are not prepared for, or to sit back. And one of the things, actually, Howard, what got me to move in on politics was in 1975, when I was a senior in high school in West Palm Beach. We had to take a course in sociology called America versus Communism. And so communism can creep into society. We look at America, and I don't want to dwell on that because we got our own issues, but you see leaders would creep, make slow steps, and start to take away certain privileges and rights and all like that, and become a stronghold in the country. And we'll start to, not in the name of a dictator, but all the traits of dictatorship, victimization, and all these type of things would be. And so I stayed in there, and I looked at our then Prime Minister, Sir Lyndon Pinland, that I think he had overstayed his time. And if we don't rise up and beat him, perhaps we may end up in places we
now we can talk. Talking about overstaying your time. I have had, they put me in the hotspot several times. Anytime I have something to say more specifically about what I see, right? And my former affiliation with the Free National Movement and being able to talk about what I see in the organization. Let's talk some politics just for a little couple minutes, if you allow me, right? Being able to identify that we've taken on this kind of a position. I moved from the Guardian Radio, and one of the things that I've actually said is that I've seen a parent. If I'm going to gauge you by your fruits, and I could be able to identify the fruits of leadership in this country, we know Lyndon Benton fruits, we know Perry Christie's fruits, former Prime Minister Perry Christie, we know Hubert Ingram fruits. And if I could say that I have identified certain elements and certain fruits presenting themselves in the Free National Movement, and it appears that former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram is involved in these particular things, it has been sort of a tumultuous ride for me since I said that. Now, I don't back down from that because I'm convicted that this is what I see. But I want you to talk to this sort of a concept and idea that says your time, the length of time and the commitment that you make in a leadership capacity and your input. Now, I'm sure that your influence will dwindle with time gradually, but you asserting yourself in these particular positions to be able to present your authority, even though the times have shifted. Talk to me about that.
Well, for a long time, the FNM had been in the wilderness. They've had several leaders. So Cecil Wallace Whitfield, strong leader. Then we had Sir Kendall Isaacs. And then came the Hubert Ingram after the John Boswicks and all them. So it came to Hubert Ingram. And Hubert Ingram was the one to bring the party over to victory. So he has become that mortal figure in the Free National Movement. And a second time after he bowed out, I was one of those who advocated for him to come back. There's a need for him to come back. And so he came back, and so it looked like we could have only won with him. So he's made a mark in the party. Some tried to dismiss it, some tried to diminish him, and all like that. And that's what causes chaos and divisions in party. I believe in paying honor to a person who's worthy of it. I'm not going to bow down and worship anybody. If I'm going to be a part of an organization, I'm not going to sit by quietly and allow things to just go and take this thing with it all, but it is what it is. I don't believe in that. I believe that it changes. We just need, as God would have said to Joshua, he said, Moses, thy servant is dead. Arise and take these people over to Jordan. So there comes a time when one has got to pass on and pass it on. And so if they tend to stay in there that long, we got to let them know that your time has come and it's time to move on.
Now, you said that you advocated for him to come back when he came back in 2007.
Yes.
Okay. We ain't fighting that. I think a lot of persons could be able to be content with the fact that him coming back did the country some good during that particular time, right? However, what about, even though he may not necessarily show himself at the forefront, what about the indifference that I'm hearing bubble up out of the organization that says, for instance, let's talk about North Abaco. I know you would have heard about North Abaco. After ratification for the young lady Boodle, in that particular capacity, the association says that after it all, we find ourselves in this position and we don't like how this person came here, superseded all the process, and we don't like how Ingram was involved in this. This is what the paper said. This ain't Howard. This is the paper said, right? The woman then ratified. You would expect the organization to fall in line. What's that clicking? That's you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you would expect the ratified, after they didn't ratify, they didn't gone through everything but they were supposed to go through, everybody would fall in line and move forward with the organization and move forward with the nomination and really being able to try to win this seat, right? That's not happening. They say they want, I think his name is Greg or Gary Smith out of North Abaco and these particular things. Do you believe that even though he's not necessarily showing his face formally at the forefront of these particular things, his influence in the background could be disturbing the democracy of how things should happen in the organization?
You're going to always have differences. You're going to always have differences in the Free National Movement. And I try to speak to supporters why we are different from the progressive liberal body is because we are a different, it's going to get me in some problems, but that's what I say. We are different intellectual in our thoughts and in our politics. And so we became FNMs because we will not bow to the then dictates of the former father of the nation. And so that's what created the Free National Movement. And the Free National Movement is a party who believes fully in democracy, freedom of speech, freedom of choice, and freedom of speaking their minds. And so some people didn't like that with Hubert Ingram because they thought that after the practices of the supporters of the PLP, the victors get the spoils. And so the FNM, who waited for a long time, was waiting, anticipating, collecting spoils. And Hubert Ingram decided to swing us into a different culture. And that was never really received. Still today, people are still supporters, are still saying, when we become the government, we want this, we want that. We must see how they just treat their people and this thing and the next thing and all like that. So people are into politics for so many different reasons and cliques and stuff like that. In every organization, in the church and all like that, we got cliques and all these type of things like that. And so that's just human nature. So we can always have differences.
Okay. Well, tell me about this. Tell me about, more specifically, let's bring it home. I was national issues, more specifically about the Free National Movement. I want you to tell me about the PLP. The PLP has been in since September 21st, 2021. And, but no, September 16th? Was it 16th? 2021. And they've enjoyed now this year 4 years in their particular capacity. A lot of persons thought they wouldn't make it. A lot of persons thought that by now that everything would crumble and fall down. There was some speculations that Prime Minister Brave Davis wouldn't be able to do it. And for the most part, I think he has really quelled and shut the mouth of those naysayers. And a lot of persons who've been able to do that. I know that many of us can be able to find some discomforts in our society and say that, well, he could have done this better, or he could do this, he could do that. What is the general sentiment, more specifically from Bimini, that's coming out? We know that Bimini historically has always been able to kind of lean towards the PLP, lean towards these particular directions. Like you said, from 82, you would have been able to see a divide between Jeff Davis and George Weish and being able to do those things, right? So even though there is a divide, there has always been sort of a leaning. That's why what's his name? David Wallace stayed with you in 97, maybe a week. I don't know how long he stayed. He must have stayed a week or so with you because he knew if he came out of Bimini behind, he was going to have a problem when he hit West End. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, well, West End is a traditional PLP stronghold, and people do talk about how just I'm getting my charger, Howard, so just bear with me. Mm-hmm. So people far as the PLP is concerned, their stronghold in Grand Bahama and Bimini, well, the whole country, the Bahamas as a whole, has supported the PLP based upon the fact that the PLP or Sir Lynden Pinland was the one that they would say liberated us as a nation from the oligarchs, and so that will always live on with him, for him, as long as we live. Now, Bimini, as people say, leaning PLP and all that, I want to dispel that. In the politics, and I studied the grounds, we have a base of about, let's say, 40% PLP, 40% FNM supporters, and you have that swing 20% that you've got to try to get the majority of the 20%. Now, many people might not want to admit publicly, but money plays a tremendous role.
Hold on, Pastor. You have something else playing because we're getting the feedback. You got something on? If you got something on other than what we're talking on, either press mute or cut it off for me, please.
Okay. Well, I don't think we have anything else on.
No, I mean the show. If you got the show playing elsewhere, you just press mute and talk directly into the phone. But that's all right. Come on.
I don't have anything on.
Okay, go ahead. Let's go.
Yeah. So you got that swing 20% that you got to try to get 11% out of that to win the elections. And so I was saying that money plays a pivotal role on the election, and that's why people say election is won on election day.
Okay,
so you can win campaign.
You got to swing 20%, so that's only 300 voters.
Yeah.
If you got 1,500, if you got 1,500 registered voters, right? 10% is 150, 20% is 300. So you got to swing. You got to swing 20%, which is 300 people, right? And you believe that they make a determination to go either way. Now they have been going Orby's way for a while. Do you think anything will change with Kingsley at the helm and this presentation of anyone else being able to come to that constituency?
We won this election in 2017,
with Bekisha.
When we defeated Obi. We defeated Obi, and I'm saying we because I'm a
but he come right back in 21 and got it. He come right back in 21 and take it.
I know the reasons why. I know the reasons why. But that's why I'm telling you, it all boils down to election day and finances. There's a whole lot of stuff what goes on in election on these islands and things that never makes the media. But we who wakes the ground and knows the ground know what has to be done and know what needs to be have.
Bishop Lache Boyd said at the synod yesterday, at the opening, I think it was the day before yesterday, when he says that there needs to become a campaign finance reform, and that if people get in grease, that needs to stop also. Are you saying to me indirectly that some people have been getting grease?
Hey, listen, this is nothing confined to the Bahamas.
Okay.
In America, there are billion-dollar donors, okay? And
lobbyists.
After election is won, okay, now the candidate, the winner, the president, the prime minister is going to be faced with these donors, these significant donors, and what they've done is not because they love you, but what they've done is based upon what they can get back. So that's an investment. Now, we don't know that. And I believe that there are people who play both sides. These companies play both sides, and they are like the Oreo cookie. So they're in the middle, and they got the two sides fighting on the outside.
Hold on. In the middle, it's white. On the outside, it's black. What you telling me? What you telling me?
I didn't mean along color line. but yeah, I didn't mean that. But that's a good analogy. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
And that's yes. So they play two sides. So they bound to win. And at the end of it, they win. So they are able, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I hope time don't run out on us before we touch the current situation with the ratification of Sabas, because that's a dangerous zone that we're treading in.
Well, let's talk
And so-
about it then, because I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the ratification of Sabas with you. I want to talk about the by-election coming up and whether or not the Free National Movement should present themselves in that particular constituency. And I also want to talk about the Boundaries Commission. The Boundaries Commission hasn't met just yet, but there is enough conversation and speculations to say that they believe that they will separate, dissect, and sever themselves from Grand Bahama, and Bimini and Berry Islands unite as one, and Grand Bahama or West Grand Bahama sits separately. I don't know if you heard that. I would have heard that. That's coming to the forefront. We haven't had the boundaries. Huh?
Yeah, yes, I heard that. I don't have to wait for that to hit the news to know what's happening behind the curtain. I wake in in filming too, some years ago. I wake in props. So we the people behind the scene. So we make things happen and prepare the site and prepare the lights. And then the actors, they just come on and the lights are shown on them. But we know when they come in, we know when they come in, and we know what they're going to say. But the public is only going to hear it and see it when they appear. But those who prepare the way, the John the Baptists, they know what's coming. So we don't have to wait for it to come in.
Mr. Forerunner, who continues to be able to scream out in the wilderness. I want to hear from this. Let me take this quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. When we get back, we're having good conversation, getting into the thick of it in these last few moments to talk about a few things as it relates to politics in the country and how we see it. More specifically, how the Family Islands are taking these things. We're going to be right back after this.
Nassau, Bahamas, Alpha Sounds Promotions is celebrating 25 years of greatness.
Yes, 25 years of love and unity in the Bahamas.
And coming to celebrate with us is none other than Cast the Band.
Yes, Cast the Band.
Alongside Beijing sensation, Ruby. Our very own Nishi LS.
Fanshawn.
Wendy.
Lady E.
Sweet Emily.
Veronica Bishop.
Ancient Man.
Julian Believe and the Pawn Band.
And many more. Hosted by Natural Empress and yours truly, Giselle the Wassy One.
Saturday, November 8th at Breezes Grounds, Cable Beach. Gates open at 7 p.m.
Early bird tickets are just $75. VIP access for $150 with an open bar.
Get your tickets now online at Bahamas8tickets.com, or you can get them at Big Boys Cafe, Plantation Bar and Grill, and Tropics on the Bay. Alpha Sounds, 25 years of greatness.
For more information, call 822-6863.
Saturday, November 8th. Miss it? You matter what.
When I'm feeling under the weather, you just make me feel sweet.
Give me! Hey! Reckon Scott! Hey! Miami! Woo! Come on! Bring it! Woo! Oh, go! Woman pull up to Miami airport door with the biggest box I ever saw. She said, take this down to Bahamas there. You get a big tip once you get it there. Nah, you know, I just wait for tips. But it's this weight me broken up my hip. I ain't but you ain't got a thing to prove. But this the biggest box that I ever tried to move. She had the biggest box in the world I ever saw.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here talking with none other than Pastor Oral Ellis. He is the pastor of Born Again Church in Bimini. He's online on Saturday nights and on Monday nights, 7:55. You can check him out at Oral J. Ellis Sr. on Facebook, and you can be able to participate and be a part of what he's doing. Pastor Ellis, this has been a wonderful conversation, and I'm truly enjoying the history, the rich history that you have about Bimini and these particular things, but I'm truly interested in this sort of a concept and idea that's happening in there. Now, you and I spoke, and you have really been able to put your convictions at the forefront, and I didn't hear in the conversation politics. I only heard a concern for nation. Most recently, we would have been able to see Sabas Bastian, who is the head of Island Television, who is also the head and the founder of Island Luck, the gaming company, and being able to do those particular things. And we would have seen him most recently ratified. There was speculations, there were conversations, there was a possibility, and he never really clung to these things, but always said that he would be more than happy to serve. But now he is ratified as the PLP's standard bearer in the constituency of Fort Charlotte. Talk to me about that. I know that the church and a great deal of members in the church were indifferent with this kind of a position a few years back as it relates to the referendum. But I don't know whether or not that kind of a wound has been mended and this acceptance into these particular spaces. Talk to me about it.
Well, what we are seeing now is not just what just got started. I could take you back to 2012 when the former Prime Minister Ingram was Prime Minister, and so this number's still lingering around from we were little boys, and he was being pressured as the government to legalize the industry. And
you got to turn your phone off. I can't hear you through all the buzzing. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
That's my son. That's my son calling me from California.
But he know you doing this, son. You know your daddy doing this. Go ahead.
He's 3 hours behind us.
Okay.
He might be calling me now for money hours.
He can wait. He can be all right.
Yeah. So, it's been pressured the government to legalize the industry, and Mr. Ingram, the then Prime Minister, he said that he's gonna put it into the hands of the Christian Council, and if the Christian Council said legalize it, he will legalize it. If not, he take it off his agenda, and so he took it off his agenda, and so that leave room for the opposition leader, Mr. Perry Christie, to have an opportunity to speak to the industry, the gamers, and I believe that they had done their thing behind closed doors as to get them legalized. So
when they came in 2012. When the Christie administration came in 2012, this was a part of their agenda. The referendum was a part of the agenda. And they went to referendum, we went to referendum, and just as you said, under the former administration, they said that we put it before the Christian Council. Former Prime Minister Perry Christie is taking on the same kind of a route, but he did so through the avenue of being able to go to referendum. And so when we went to referendum, it was the sentiments of the people. Now, if you remember, the Christie administration would have been able to really be able to kind of hold some conversations and some consultations and trying to be able to feel out the sentiment of these particular people. Pastors in this country, and more specifically Pastor Mario Moxie and others who would have been able to join him in this kind of a crusade, said, no, we don't want it, and they kept pushing against it. Long story short, the referendum was not successful. It failed. It was a no in that particular instance. However, your member of parliament, who was then the head of gaming in the country, and the Ministry of Tourism had stood in the House of Assembly and indicated that they'll let the church do what the church does, and we will do what the government has to do, in so many words, right? And we saw the bill go through, passed, and the country, even though there was never a pronunciation of it, has been indifferent since then. Talk to me about it.
Well, let's go to the results. The $3 million, I think, that was spent on the referendum that proved to be fruitless, because the people had spoken, and the people said, no, we don't want the industry to be legal. And so they rise up and voted against the referendum. The then Prime Minister said that he had no horse in the race, but many of us didn't believe that. We believed that he did have a horse in the race, and we would have known some history that I'm not going to go into on air at this particular time. But we know from consensus and intelligence of what would have went down, and so they would have invested in him, and he would have tried to keep good faith with the church, and said, well, rather than him taking it on in Parliament, we let the country decide. God had it so that the people voted no, and so they did what they could have done without involving us, which was taking us to referendum. The people spoke, and we always say the voice of the people is the voice of God. And so he still went ahead and legalized them. And we believe that most of them that are out there had been on board with the PLP from that time. And if I were in the industry and I find a soft spot or someplace who would undergrade and support me and legalize me, I would do likewise and join and perhaps support them and try to keep them in position to keep friendly with them. And so I believe it entails some finances and all like that. And now what we are seeing now is that when you look at the amount of money that they claim that they intake annually, and to leave that to come to sit in Parliament for $28,000 a year, then you do the maths. You can believe that it's more than just willing to serve, but perhaps protect your industry, be able to put some more things forward, and perhaps what we have seen is only 1 foot at this particular time. We don't know what the future holds. We don't know what their thoughts are, their plans are. They are in their own world, do their own thing, and we are the victims of what we see. But I go back to scripture in the book of Exodus, chapter 1, when Israel were enslaved in Egypt, and there was a man by the name of Joseph who had favor with the Pharaoh. And when the new king came, he said, there arose a new king who knew not Joseph. And they said, listen, the Hebrews are more than we are. They are mightier than we are. They're having children faster than we are. If we don't deal with this case wisely and war break out against us, who do you think our slaves are going to side with? And they said, let's get these out of here. And that was, well, God had hand in that also, because God was ready to move Israel out of Egypt for the promised land. But that's a word for the wise.
Wow. Well, I want to talk to you about that. And, but many persons would have actually taken on this kind of position to indicate that that is water under the bridge. That is a tumultuous time in our history where there was contention between a new and budding industry and the concept of what could happen in a traditional environment, that the environment is shifting, and we don't necessarily have to tether ourselves. We don't have to cling. We don't have to glue. We don't have to attach ourselves to the mindset of the past. They don't say it's a conviction. They don't say it's a faith thing. They just say this is the mindset of the past. And this industry, with the new technologies, new concepts, new avenues, new opportunities for government to do taxation, to be able to get new revenue incomes for the government, this new concept is a wonderful concept. The people have accepted that. They've done everything to ensure that there's proper regulations of this particular industry. They've made sure that the addiction aspect is mitigated against, and being able to ensure that there's avenues for that. All of these things that people can say. Pastors are saying, well, send the money to me. Pastors, they accept the money, all these particular things. And it seems as though our society has accepted the fact that the number man is here to stay. And they formalize that. And as a result of formalization and acceptance into that, last election cycle, we would have seen Leslia Miller Bryce, who is the wife of those particular persons who have an affiliation to that licensing, and her not being able to access specific office as a result of that. But this election cycle, the next one, 2026, that's going to be coming up, we've seen that through it all, that Sebas Bastian now, who was the principal and founder in this particular industry, is now finding himself at the helm or entrenched in party politics to be able to find himself serving the people of Fort Charlotte. So has the Bahamian people forgiven them? Has the Bahamian people forgotten about what has happened? Has the Bahamian people looked past this and say, well, Sebas is good. He does the big bang. He's feed people. He's a philanthropist. He's taken care of. So has the Bahamian people forgotten that they would have gone contrary to our faith, our position, and accepted this new perspective, this new direction in the country? Talk to me about it.
What we fail to admit to is economic times, hard times, and hardship with people, and sometimes people's backs up against the wall, and people got to compromise to have things done their way and all that. So people have to do all that type of things, and then there are people who have the excess, who can do things to help people do it in a way, whereas they make themselves to be, this type figure and all like that, and so they feel like they have a rights, they own the people. This is the way how I get more. So they appear to do, as you said. You saw Leslie and Bryce in the last election. So now what you're seeing, okay? So you're seeing an increase, right?
You also seeing that Rick Fox, he may not necessarily be a number man, but he has had international status, and he is a figure of mammoth proportions in the world, in the whole world, saying that he's given consideration to serve on a local level. That knock a lot of people off the board.
Well, Howard, I'm a spiritual person, and I don't just look at things as what I see on the surface, but I try to look beyond what I see and try to see what I don't see. I can tell you something, what I got from Bishop George Bloomer. Bishop George Bloomer say, if you don't see it before you see it, when you see it, you wouldn't know it. I can say it again. If you don't see it before you see it, when you see it, you wouldn't know it.
Okay, I got
so
that.
You'll be able to see beyond what you see now. You have to be able to see what you're looking for in the spiritual. So when you come across it in the natural at that given time, you know what you're looking for. You know what you have seen.
What do you see?
You have seen,
What do you see? What do you see for Bimini? What do you see for the country? What do you see for the by-election? Go ahead.
Let's turn back the pages to pre-1992. We were known in the international world as a nation for sale. We were seen as a government and a people option, and we have been able to move away from that and try to present us in the light of a different image. And now you seem that you want to go back into the darkness. And how many banks receive their monies? How many banks in the Bahamas receive their money?
I don't know. Go ahead and talk about it.
No, that's one for you. That's one for you. If you
how many banks receive their money?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's not.
That. I can go research it.
Yeah. Okay, then you will call me back. And so these are things. I gonna for the next minutes that we have, you can try to end this on a spiritual alarm,
I like that.
so we can understand where we are as a people. We tend to look at the conditions, which is the symptoms, but what we never really get down to is the problem. We look at the symptoms, and so we go and get prescription to deal with the symptoms, but we never get down to deal with the problem. And so when you tend to not deal with the problem and you try to solve the problem based upon the symptoms, you're going to have side effects. Whilst this might may lower your blood pressure, but it can cause this thing to be affected on the side. And the more side effects that you have is far greater than the problem you're trying to solve. So as you try to solve problems treating the symptoms, you might live, but you're creating more problems, and one day you're gonna die. The Bible says that there is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. So if no matter how you may stray away from the formulas and the manual, thinking all of these different rights, human rights, this thing rights, the next thing rights, you might have a right. You might be legal, but in the sight of the manufacturer, that's a different story. So you could be right, you have the rights, you could be legal, you could drink as much as you want to drink, it's legal. But if the doctor tells you you're destroying your kidneys, you're destroying this thing and the next thing, but you have a rights and it's legal, you can't get ticketed for it, you can't get charged, you can't go to jail for it, but you're killing yourself and you're killing your family. You're destroying yourself and you have the rights to destroy yourself. But if somebody don't step in and bring counsel and tell you why you're dealing with what you're dealing with, you continue to go down that road of perishing.
Is that our nation now? Is that our nation who understand our rights to be able to abuse whatever it is, but not necessarily understanding the manual from the manufacturer? Talk to us about that.
Yes. And so we have a lot of problems in our country. We can't find or put away or put our fingers to the pulse how we're going to deal with all the societal ills, the social ills in the country. And so because we have Chronicles, 2 Chronicles 7 and 14, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble them and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. That was Solomon's prayer asking God, what are you going to do for Israel in the event Israel backslide on you? And so God spoke that to Solomon.
I think I got a telephone call coming through. If there's a telephone call, guys, you could be able to call me. You see the numbers right there, 827-0111, 827-0111. I think someone was trying to be able to call in. Let me see if I can get it now. Hold up. Let me see if I get it. Turn it down.
Hello.
Thanks so much for calling. Thanks so much for calling. I see I missed your telephone call. You're on with us. This is Pastor Oral Ellis all the way from Bimini. Pastor Ellis, this is Anton. Anton, what's happening, brother?
Pastor Ellis, how are you, sir?
This Anton was in Bimini?
No,
this Anton was in Bimini, Howard?
This Anton, you was in Bimini?
I used to come there quite frequently. A friend of mine worked down there at the resort.
Yeah, well, that's how it.
I used to pay a visit often.
That's Anton. That's Anton. Go ahead, Anton.
Yeah, me and you spoke several times, Pastor. How you doing?
Yeah, I know. That's why I said that. I'm doing good, man. How about you? You behaving?
I'm trying my best, but you know, you would have made a comment a few minutes ago that caused me to call right away, right? Because I thought it was so timely, so important, and so right, and it's something that me and Howard used to talk about often when he was in the next place, and it is that, you know, Bahamians are so busy going through the struggle every day just to try and keep their heads above water, to try and keep the water running, or to try and keep electricity in the home, or to try and keep, or to decide and try and keep particular food in the cupboards, in the refrigerator, in order to prepare meals for themselves and or themselves and their families. That it makes it difficult. It almost places Bahamians in an essence in a compromised position, right? And because of that compromised position, like you started to talk about, Pastor Ellis, it automatically it falsely, let me identify that. It falsely, but it automatically gives power for the time being to the legislators, right? And I believe this is the key why we see and why we've seen over the last 30 years, no prime minister has been able to retain government outside of Hubert Ingram for that very same problem. Bahamians find themselves in many instances. Most people ain't like you, Pastor Ellis. Most people aren't like me. They're not going to speak truth to power, regardless of if that truth impacts positively or negatively people who you support on a normal basis. Most people are not like that. Most people, and a lot of people, will submit themselves to compromise, will submit themselves to conditions that are a nuisance, that are an irritant to their very mind and their very soul, because they have to get along in order to survive, right? And it gives politicians the platform to feel like they have those persons' support, when in essence they do not have their support legitimately and sincerely, but because people find themselves in a position of need, they play along, they camouflage their feelings, they make their feelings incognito.
When does the feelings come to the forefront? When does I feel about you really tell?
And over the last 30 years, the feelings have been coming to the fore on the day of the general election.
Yes,
which is why we've been seeing no particular government has had the benefit nor the pleasure of serving the people on a continual term basis outside of Hubert Ingram back in 1997 when he was reelected. However, what that also speaks to, Pastor Ellis and Howard and the nation, is another problem that is continuous. See, when you have a problem that exists 30 years ago and that problem isn't addressed, 30 years later, that problem still exists. And that problem, not only does it exist, the problem has worsened. The problem has deteriorated to, in some instances, a point of no return. Mm-hmm. Or in some other instances, a point of where you're on the borderline of no return, right? And so it makes it that much more difficult for the next administration coming into the government to try and peel back some of those layers, some of those challenges, because the challenges are so severe, and so it takes time. However, I will end with this, because I know you have limited time, Howard. I know I call late in the show. I will end with this. I do believe that, and I sincerely believe that Prime Minister Davis has peeled back some of those layers. I do believe that because there are so many problems, so many layers that built up over the last 30 years, so many challenges, it's going to take a while, a lot longer than 5 years, to get the people in a comfortable position. But I do believe that Philip Brave Davis is moving in the right direction. Although the reality speaks to the fact that not everybody on his team is working the way he's working. Not everybody on his team has the heart that he has. Not everybody on his team is doing right by the people with the power of vested in them to the ability or to the tune that they have the ability to do.
Wow.
Right? Or to execute at.
Wow.
And so that creates a further problem when you have, it's almost like people come down to the decision where they want to throw away the baby and the bathwater. But we have to think carefully and clearly in this upcoming election and recognize there's people in this country who they destroy Bahamians, they hurt Bahamians. And there are people in this country who build up Bahamians. And you have to recognize who is before you. And while you may need to throw away some of the bathwater, you still keep that scenario because it's working for you at the end of the day. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Howard. Blessings to you. Blessings to you continually, Pastor Ellis. It's always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you very much, Howard. Peace.
Okay, Anton.
Yeah,
and Pastor, I want you to be able to respond to that. The overwhelming sentiment is that maybe people was lying to the last administration and saying to the last administrations, including Prime Minister Christie and including Hubert Ingram, who would try to be able to get in again and failed in that particular capacity. That man, traditional Bahamian, yeah, man, you straight, we can take care of you, you straight. But you know what that actually translates to at the polls. We see that Prime Minister Christie got ousted significantly, even in the last sweep, where he was gracefully bowed out in retirement after this particular defeat. And so I'd like to talk to you about that. Where does this put you? Where does this put the country? Where does this put being able to observe Brave Davis as an individual, as a leader, not necessarily tethered to any other leader, not necessarily tethered to any other administration. Brave Davis over the past 4 years, where does it lead you to be able to look at him and his leadership as to whether or not he should be given a second chance, if he's done well, if he shouldn't done well, so forth and so on?
Well, the politics part and the end result in the politics is still based upon everything. God is the Alpha and the Omega.
Yes.
He's the beginning and the end, and everything is gonna go in accordance to the people. Okay, I said that we spoke to this adage where they say, "But it is what it is."
Yes,
it's not is what it is. It is what we allow it to be and to become. And I gonna fix that in a minute. And I don't know what time you gotta go, but anyhow.
I just waiting on you. Once you wrap up, we gone. Go ahead.
No, well, we can do this in like Hubert Ingram was saying 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, when God sent Isaiah to Hezekiah and telling him he must set his house in order, for he must die and not live, Hezekiah didn't accept that. He heard it, but he didn't receive it. And so he turned his back to the wall and turned his face to the wall, and he began to pray to God and say, "God, remember me, how I walked before you, and how I did this and how I did that." And before Isaiah got to where he was going to his return, God stopped him and sent him back and tell him, "Go and speak to Hezekiah and tell him, I have heard his prayer, I have seen his tears, and I add to his time 15 years. Did God change his mind? No, God didn't change his mind. But Hezekiah touched his heart. And when you touch the heart of God, God will, in turn, do some things that will be in your favor.
This is a good lesson right here for the divine will of God and what people is called the permissive will of God. Bishops say that don't exist, but the permissive will of God. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so also, when in Hezekiah, not Hezekiah, Isaiah, again in chapter 6, when he appeared, and he said, in the year King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord high and lifted up, train for the temple and all that. And when Hezekiah said, I saw the Lord, when he saw the Lord and see himself as the prophet, Isaiah said, woe am I, for I am undone. I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell among a people of unclean lips. Now, when people hear that, they look at that as obscenity, profanity. That was not Isaiah. But what Isaiah was saying was that God was speaking, but people were not in position to hear him. And so when he saw himself as to who he thought he was and he was not, then he said, woe on me, I am undone. And so he was now confessing. And then the angel flew from off his post and took a live coal and placed it in Hezekiah on Isaiah's lips. And Isaiah said, now his sins was forgiven and his iniquities were purged. And now he was able to hear God. He said, and I heard the voice saying, whom shall I send? Who will go for us? Isaiah said, here am I, send me. So after his confession of what he thought he was when he was not, he was under the grace of God. And so God asked, who will go for us? That means he can't, whom shall I send? He can't find nobody. Who will go for us? That's looking for volunteer. So after Hezekiah was forgiven, after his confession, he said, here am I, send me. And God had a message for him to go and tell the people, they're hearing with their ears, they're seeing with their eyes, but I want you to deal with them until they hear not from their ears, until they see not from their eyes. So God wants to take us to a place where he can show us what he wants us to do. But we have to position ourselves to that place where we can hear from him. So it's not that God is not speaking. We are just not in a position to hear what he's saying. And so our problems is not in the government. It's not in the police force. It's not in the prisons. It's not in the rehab. We have a greater, more serious problem than government structures and all like that. Our problem is spiritual problem, warfare. And until we can get to that place and get to a place where we get back in good faith with God, we continue to have problems because we're trying to do a Band-Aid approach, trying to patch wounds and all like that. You could continue to patch wounds, but the pressure that coming through the pipe, if you put a Band-Aid on that hole, it can blow holes someplace else. So until you change the pipe, until you go to the manufacturer's prescription and description as to what to do, you can continue to have leakage, you can continue to have whole base and stuff like that until you come to that.
What is the pipe in this scenario? Is the pipe our legislation? Is the pipe our mindset? Is the pipe leadership? What is the pipe in this scenario here?
We got is at the end of the day is God. It's God.
We got to change our pipe of corruption and immorality to get back to God.
We gotta come as sincere, and it's so much stuff. When we pray, Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done. We are asking God. That's what Jesus told the disciples how to pray. We are asking God to transfer from heaven to the people in the earth, and it comes through people. But can God trust the people to deliver it to the people?
Wow.
But when the people get it, they hoard it and they keep it for themselves.
Like the manna.
And it comes.
I like it.
I
like it. I like it.
And
this is a good conversation. Pastor Oral Ellis, all the way from Bimini, being able to call us in and being able to have a great conversation with me today. I want to thank you so much, man, Pastor. I really, truly, truly enjoyed this. And listen, when you're off again, you tell me so we could be able to get back together and have good conversations about national leadership and the direction that things are going to go. November 24th will be the by-election, so we got to have good conversations between then and now as we continue to talk about these things. I want to thank you so much for being able to join me today, my brother.
Well, I'm in your hand. You have my number, and so you can feel free to call me at any time. And I work for myself, so time is not really a critical issue for me. So we can always make this. I want to say hello to my wife. She has been listening for the last 2 hours. Say hello to her for me.
Hello, Miss Ellis. I see him say he worked for himself, but I know he didn't tell me he worked for you. So praise God, right?
Yeah.
It's good to see y'all now. Look at y'all invite me to Bimini. Yeah, I come to stay right by y'all. I ain't staying no place else. Amen. Praise God, right?
Yeah, and bring your mama too.
I can bring mommy. Too. She here with me now, you know. She come to the synod. So I can bring her too.
Oh. Yeah,
it's good talking.
Hello to her. Yeah,
I'll do that, Pastor.
Tell her, Pastor. Say hello. It's been I enjoyed the time with Howard. It's been a good day, and I appreciate the allowing us to speak and interact.
I enjoyed
There's a whole lot of things we can say and we can talk about, get down to the crux of the matters of the country and stuff like that. But these are only avenues to do what is needed to be done. But you got to get back down to the foundation. You got to get to the foundation.
I like it. Thank you, my pastor. We can talk to you next time. I'll catch you later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show today. He finished it well. The Foundation. We can see you tomorrow, God's Spirit, right here on The Foundation. Have a great day, guys.
I have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal